Welcome back to the UFC Predictions Tracker channel. In this video we will go over all the picks that were made for UFC 304 Leon Edwards vs Belal Muhammad 2. After two smaller events earlier this month, we finally got a really big card with this one. A total of 14 fights will be on this card with some very interesting matchups. And not just because who is fighting who, but also odds-wise and by picks. Alright, let's start with the totals for this event. I'm tracking 85 channels, and out of those 85 channels, 68 made predictions for this event. That means that 17 channels have not yet made a prediction, but they will be added in the results video once they make predictions for this event. The 68 channels made a total of 830 predictions for this event, which is the highest so far I've had on this channel. So a lot of predictions to go over, and we'll start now with the first fight of the night. The first fight of the night is a light heavyweight fight between Modestas Bukauskas from Lithuania and Marcin Prachnio from Poland. The odds makers predict that Modestas will win this fight against Marcin. Modestas has minus 160 in odds to win, and Marcin has plus 131 in average odds. So not a real big favorite. According to the Tapology community and their predictions, they also think that Modestas will win this fight, and he's the favorite there with 72% of the picks. Most people predict that this fight will end in a decision. 57 channels on YouTube have made a prediction on this fight, and 34 out of 57 or 60% predict that Modestas will win versus 23 out of 57 or 40% for Marcin. Interestingly, the best predictors from last month, which are channels that had a higher than 10% return of investment on all of their picks for that month, the names in light green are plus 10% return of investment last month, and the dark green ones are 20% plus return of investment, are favoring Marcin in this fight, and 4 out of 6 predict that he will win, or 67%, versus Modestas, who only get 2 out of 6 or 33%. The next fight of the evening is a women's fight in the strawweight division between Shauna Bannon from Ireland and Ardelean from Romania. Shauna Bannon is the favorite with minus 171 in average odds from the odds makers versus Elliott, who has plus 141 in odds. The Tapology community are more confident than the odds makers, and 86% of them predict that Shauna will win this fight, and most think it will be by a decision. The prediction channels on YouTube also think that Shauna will win this fight. 34 out of 46 channels predict that she will win, or 74%, versus Elliott, who gets 12 picks out of 46 channels for 26%. But interestingly, again the channels with the best result last month have it 50-50 for both fighters. So again, they give the underdog a better chance to win than the other channels, the Tapology community and the odds makers. Then we have a welterweight fight between Sam Patterson from the United Kingdom and Kiefer Crosbie from Ireland. And Kiefer looks pretty angry, and I'm not sure why, but maybe it's because he's the biggest underdog on this card. He has plus 329 in odds from the odds makers versus Sam Patterson, who is the biggest favorite so far on this card with minus 437 in average odds. Patterson is also a huge favorite by picks from the Tapology community. 91% predict that he will win via a submission, and only 9% think that Kiefer will win this match. And the predictors on YouTube agree as well. 55 out of 58 predict that Sam will win, or 95%. Kiefer only gets 3 out of 58 or 5% of the picks from the YouTube predictors. And the same with the best pickers from last month. 5 out of 6 think Patterson will win versus 1 out of 6 for Kiefer. Then we have another welterweight fight between Oban Elliott from Wales and Preston Parsons from the United States. This is the closest match in terms of average odds so far for this card. Oban Elliott is the slight underdog with plus 115 in average odds versus minus 113 for Preston Parsons. Interestingly, the topology community has Oban as the favorite with 65% of the picks and 35% for Preston. Most people think this fight will go to a decision. But the YouTube predictors disagree with the topology community. Most think Preston will win, and 43 out of 58 predict that Preston will win, or 74%. And for Oban, 15 out of 58 channels predict that he will win, and 6 out of 6 or 100% of the best pickers also think Preston will win this fight. Next is a heavyweight fight between Mike Parkin from England and Lukasz Brzeski from Poland. Mike Parkin is the favorite with minus 298 in average odds, and his opponent Lukasz has plus 237 in average odds and is the underdog. Mike Parkin is also a big favorite and gets 96% of the picks from the topology community, and he's the biggest favorite in the topology community this week. And again, most people think this fight will end with a decision. And also the YouTube predictors think that Mike Parkin will win this fight, and he's a big favorite with 55 out of 59 picks or 93% versus Lukasz, who only gets 4 out of 59 or 7% of the picks. And Mick Parkins gets 6 out of 6 or 100% of the picks from last month's best pickers. Next, we have a fight in the bantamweight division between Caolán Loughran from Ireland and Jake Hadley from England. Caolán is the favorite in odds and has minus 214 in average odds versus his opponent Jake with plus 172. Also, the topology community predict Loughran will win this match. He is getting 84% of the picks, and most predict that this fight will end by a decision. And the YouTube predictors also agree, and most of them pick Caolán to win with 41 out of 46 picks or 89% of the picks. Jake was only picked 5 times or 11% of the time. And from the best pickers, no one predicts that Jake will win this fight. Next fight is a women's fight in the strawweight division between Molly McCann from England versus Bruna Brasil from Brazil. Again, we have another pretty big favorite here with Molly McCann. She has minus 353 in average odds versus plus 267 odds for Bruna Brasil. Also, the topology community thinks that Molly McCann will win this fight and has 88% of the picks, and most of them think this fight will end with a KO by Molly McCann. The predictors on YouTube also highly favor Molly McCann in this matchup, and 51 out of 56 channels predict that she will win this fight, and only 5 out of 56 predict that Bruna will win. And the same with the best predictors. 5 out of 6 think that Molly McCann will win. So Molly McCann is the big favorite everywhere. Next is Nathaniel Wood from England versus Daniel Pineda from the United States in a featherweight match. And here we have another huge favorite on the card. Nathaniel Wood has minus 440 in average odds versus plus 328 for Daniel. And he's also a huge favorite in the topology community, getting 96% of all picks, and Daniel only getting 4%. Nathaniel Wood is the biggest favorite in the topology community this week, together with Mick Parkin, both getting 96% of the picks this week. But he is even a bigger favorite from the YouTube prediction channels. Only Kiefer from Sherdog.com thinks that Daniel Pineda will win this match. But the rest of the channels, 56 out of 57, predict Nathaniel Wood to win this match. And the best predictors pick him 100% of the time. So should be a very tough match for Daniel Pineda. Then we have a very much anticipated fight between Mokaev from the United Kingdom and Manel from Portugal in the flyweight division. And this is one of the few matches on this card that are pretty close in odds. Mohamed has minus 157 in average odds and Manel has plus 128. 61% of the Tapology community predict that Mohamed will win, and most of the time by a decision, and Manel is predicted to win 39% of the time. This is the closest fight in percentage that we've seen so far from the Tapology community. And it's also pretty close by picks from the YouTube predictors. 39 out of 62 predict Mohamed to win, or 63%, and 23 out of 62 or 37% predict Manel to win. But from the best pickers, Manel is the favorite, with 4 out of 7 or 57% of the picks. Before we go to the main card, I want to quickly ask that if you enjoy this video and find the content helpful and informative, to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much. The first fight of the main card is between Ardelean from England and Giga Chikadze from Georgia. Ardelean is the favorite in odds with minus 233 versus Giga, who has plus 193 in odds. Ardelean is a big favorite in the Tapology community and gets 92% of the picks, and Giga only gets 8%. Most of them think that this fight will end in a decision. And most YouTube prediction channels also pick Arnold to win this fight. He gets 59 out of 67 picks, or 88% of all the picks. And Giga gets 8 out of 67 or 12% of the picks. And 100% of the best pickers last month predict Allen to win this fight. Then we have a fight in the middleweight division between Christian Leroy Duncan from England versus Gregory Rodriguez from the United States. In odds, this is a pretty close fight, and Christian has minus 147 in average odds and Gregory has plus 121 in average odds, so Christian is the slight favorite. Also in the Tapology community, Christian is the favorite, but not a huge one. He gets 65% of the picks and Gregory 35%. And most people think that this fight will end by KO. In picks from the UFC Prediction Channels, it's a lot closer. 34 out of 62 channels, or 55%, predict that Christian will win, and 28 out of 62 or 45% predict that Gregory or Robocop will win. And the best pickers think that Robocop will win, and 4 out of 7 channels or 57% predict him to win. Then next we have a lightweight fight between Bobby Green from the United States versus Paddy Pimblett from England. And this is the closest match of the evening in terms of odds. King Green is the small favorite with minus 118 versus minus 104 for Paddy Pimblett. 53% of the Tapology community thinks that King Green will win this match, and 47% thinks that Paddy Pimblett will win. And most think this fight will end with a decision, but also quite a lot think that this fight will end in a KO. But this is the closest match on the Tapology community for this event. And by the YouTube predictors, it is also very close. 37 out of 67 or 55% predict that King Green will win this match, and 30 out of 67 or 45% predict that Paddy will win this match. And from the best predictors last month, Paddy is the favorite, and 4 out of 7 think he will win. Then, the second last fight of the card, we have an interim title fight in the heavyweight division between the number 2 ranked Tom Aspinall from England and the number 4 ranked Curtis Blaydes from the United States. Tom Aspinall is a huge favorite in odds with minus 391 versus Curtis Blaydes, who has plus 295 in average odds. Tom is also a huge favorite in the Tapology community and is getting 92% of all the picks, and Curtis only gets 8% of the picks. Most predict that this fight will end by KO. And Tom is also the big favorite by the YouTube prediction channels. 63 out of 67 predict that Tom will win this fight, or 94%. And the best pickers pick him 6 out of 7 or 86%. And Curtis only gets 4 picks out of 67 channels to win this fight, or 6% of all the channels. So yeah, Tom is a big favorite everywhere. And the last fight of the night is of course between Leon Edwards from the United Kingdom and Belal Muhammad from the United States for the belt in the welterweight division. Leon is the favorite in odds with minus 263 versus Belal, who has plus 205 in odds. 81% of the Tapology community predict that Leon will win, and 90% predict that Belal will win. Most of the people think that this 5-round fight will end in a prediction. And the UFC Prediction Channels on YouTube also think that Leon will win. 53 out of 68 channels pick him to win, or 78%, versus 15 channels out of 68 or 22% that predict Belal will win this fight. And only 1 out of 7 of the best predictors last month think that Belal will win, and 6 out of 7 predict that Leon will win. For the last part of this video, we will take a quick look at which channels are playing it safe by picking mostly the favorite fighter in terms of odds to win the fight. In third place we have Double Vision, MMA 365 and Sportsbook Killas. They both picked the favorite 11 out of 12 times, or 92%. In second place we got 8 channels that picked the favorite 13 out of 14 times, or 93% of the time. These are Axel MMA, Brando MMA, Brokebets MMA, DFS by the Numbers, Greedo Plays, MMA El Dente, MMA Lewis and Angelo from We Want Picks. And in first place we have 2 channels that picked the favorite 100% of the time. Premium Picks chose the favorite 11 out of 11 times and DC Picks 14 out of 14, so all fights. Which channels go against the odds and pick the underdog the most? MMA Leaked chose the underdog 4 out of 12 times, or 33%. UFC Gambling Addicts, High Jive Picks and Baby Sharp MMA chose the underdog 5 out of 14, or 36% of the time. The Ice Files and High Kick Fight Picks chose the underdog 38% of the time. In second place are 138 MMA and Have the Battle. They both chose the underdog 6 out of 14, or 43% of the time. But the channel that picked the underdog the most this week is Jacob from We Want Picks. He picked the underdog 7 out of 14 times, or 50% of the time. Will it pay off for him? We will find out this Sunday after the fights, when I upload my results video. Hope to see you all back in that video, and good luck with your picks and bets this weekend. I hope you all enjoy the fights, and thank you all for watching, and see you next Sunday.